Welcome back to another edition of Rivals. I'm your host tonight, Scott, aka the Broducer. I've got Brent Finebaum with me, and Coach Bo. And once again, we're here for another drag-out, brutal segment for tonight's show. Got some great questions we're going to be asking. These guys are going to go toe-to-toe. As always, you guys know the rules. You guys know the deal. We know how much Coach Bo enjoys the mute button. May or may not be as, crazy as Chad with it. We'll see. So we'll have fun with it. We're going to miss Chad tonight. Chad, if you're watching, we miss you, bud. Can't wait for you to get back. All right, guys. Well, with that said, let's start this segment off. We've got an interesting first one, guys. Most hated program in college football. Now, I know we've had some shows here lately, and you guys have talked about that. Bo, you're up first. Let's hear what you think about the most hated program in college football right now.
Right,
current, not ever, but currently, right now.
Okay, so everybody's got their own rivals. Everybody's got their bitter rival that so much of the season's success depends on beating that rival. Alabama and Tennessee is a big rival. Georgia, Auburn's a big rival. Florida, Tennessee is a big rival. And there's so many throughout the annals of college football, and you can go on and on. But one thing that all of those rivals can agree on, everybody hates Notre Dame. And it's not even close. Because Notre Dame, no matter how soft their schedule is, no matter how many middle schools and JV teams they play, they're going to get pumped by all that NBC money. And every time that they beat a service academy, all we're going to hear about is how great the quarterback is and how he's the next Heisman Trophy winner. And I've watched it my whole life. I've watched the Catholic bias in the media. I mean, they're the largest Catholic institution in the country. And I'm not saying that in a derogative way. I have Catholics in my family, but it is a reality. Notre Dame, for all of the bluster in my lifetime, with the exception of a couple of years of Lou Holtz and a couple of years here recently, has been a very, very mediocre, very underwhelming, very underperforming program that every year just gets pumped and pumped and pumped by the media. And then it usually happens, they play somebody that has some guys and they get hammered. However, Notre Dame has been better in recent years. Marcus Freeman is doing a good job. But one thing that all fans in America can agree on, if you are not a Notre Dame fan, every other fan base hates you. And that's just the way it is.
Brent, let's hear your most hated college football program currently. The time starts now.
So this is tough. I feel like no matter which way you look at it, and I get your Notre Dame take, Bo, I understand. I don't disagree at all. I think that Notre Dame is, you either really, 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 really hate them or you really, 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 really like them. I don't think there's really pretty much in between. I don't think anybody's like, oh yeah, Notre Dame's okay. I think you either hate them or you love them. But regardless, I do disagree that they are the most hated fan base. I think that mantle will always belong to the University of Alabama. It is a fact that we are a very, very prestigious and a very, very winning program, and that is why people don't like us. And I don't hate that. You know what? People who say they hate Alabama, I completely understand it because you're sick of seeing Crimson holding up trophies. I completely understand. But I will say, I think that we almost started to share that mantle with Ohio State. I think Ohio State got up there as well. However, I do think that Alabama just takes the cake. I mean, every time somebody beats us, they storm the field. They live to see Alabama lose. Alabama's whole aspect of winning is based around the fact of that we're just going to overpower you. And when teams accomplish that feat of being able to kind of take those punches and roll with them and beat us, they take it and they storm the field. Nothing you can say about it. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I love being hated as a football fan, as a football player. I love people hating me. It's just what it takes to be a dominant program. But I think the fact of, you take Alabama's dominance for so long and, credited to Nick Saban, obviously the greatest of all time. It kind of comes with it. I just don't see anybody ever passing us. I mean, you can ask any Notre Dame fan who the most hated team or who they hate the most. They're obviously going to say Alabama. They have the most fans nationwide. I mean, nationwide and probably, in the world. So, I mean, it's a college football team. So I would definitely think that Alabama would have to take the cake and, the reins of being the most being the most hated football team ever. No matter how many bad coaches we see, how many Art Briles we see,
All right. That's it. That's it. All right. So great points by both of you guys. Bo, we'll start with you. You mentioned Notre Dame's schedule, which we were going to go to first anyway. I mean, it's always awful. It's always, we were talking about it before the show. Notre Dame being Notre Dame and their cupcake full schedule with their service academies and everybody else. So I gave you a point for that. And the quarterback glaze, man, you were spot on with that. It seems like it doesn't matter who the quarterback is or how good or bad he is or whatever. He's
Rick Meyer.
automatically, yeah, it's automatically, they're automatically at the top of they're in the Heisman run until they're not, but they always are at the beginning of the season. I don't care who their quarterback is, they're always there. So I gave you a point for that as well. The Catholic aspect of it and how important that is. I thought that was a very, very valid point. That carries so much weight in what they do and how they act and their entitlement because they're used to it, right? It's coming in no matter what. And they're, the underwhelming performance when they actually have to play somebody who's worth a damn. That's so important. So, Bo, I gave you 4 points for your time on that. That was very, very good. Brant picked Alabama. I thought that was a great pick. In fact, these are probably the two I would have had to pick too. I would have picked these two, definitely. Alabama just received so much hate across the nation from everybody. And Brant brought up some very, very good points. The prestige of Alabama, their winning culture, and the long-term dominance of Bama too. When somebody's winning for that long, I mean, there's a reason people hate Tom Brady like they hate Tom Brady in the NFL. I mean, dude, when you're winning that much, they hate you. They want you to lose. They want you out of their way. They are tired of looking at you holding up trophies. So, and then the way, another great point, storming the field. Nobody storms the field when they beat Tennessee. Nobody's storming the field when they beat LSU. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So great points. Those are 3 great points from Brant. So Brant got 3 points. We're going to move on to the second round. Bo is currently in the lead, 4-3. All right. So, guys, that was great. I thought, again, that was 2 really good teams that you guys went with. All right. Now, this one's another interesting question. Worst national championship game you've ever witnessed, that you watched of all time, that you've ever seen? Worst national championship game you've ever seen?
I probably have to go the 2000 national championship game, Oklahoma, Florida State. That was an absolute snooze fest. I mean, I think the final score was 13-2. Those were 2 really good, high-powered defenses. Of course, Oklahoma was Bob Stoops' year 2. Josh Heupel was the quarterback. And that defense was led by Rocky Kalmus. And they were loaded for bear on that defense. They were so good. Of course, Bob Stoops cut his teeth at Florida as a defensive coordinator in Steve Spurrier days. So, but that had to be the worst. I mean, it just, neither team could do anything on the offensive side of the ball, and Oklahoma did just enough to win. But even at that, even at a 13-2 score, I never felt like Florida State had a chance to win the game. As crazy as that sounds, they were totally shut down from the jump. But their defense kept them in the game. Slugfest, snooze fest, bull ring.
All right. You still got time, Bo, if you want to keep going. I mean,
well,
yep.
another bad one, just based on the matchup, was the Miami, Ohio. Was it Miami, Nebraska? Because Nebraska kind of backed their way in. They did not even win the Big 12. They didn't even play for the Big 12 championship. And Miami just absolutely decimated them in that game. I think it was 37-14 or 37-10, something like that. And Miami had 38 players on that team that got drafted, and Nebraska had a quarterback that couldn't throw. And that game was over before it even started. So from just a personnel matchup, that was probably the most lopsided championship game I've ever seen.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Still finished on time. How about that? All right. Good points. Good points. All right, Brent, same question goes to you. First national championship game you've ever witnessed in your lifetime. Time starts now.
Pretty simple answer. If you ask me, pretty recent. The Georgia TCU national championship was, I mean, I can't even say it was fun. I mean, I think TCU scored first, and I was like, okay, all right, TCU, you go out there. I think Max Duggan ran it in for like a little quarterback zone for a touchdown, and it was 7-0. And I was like, okay, TCU runs out, jumps on Kirby Smart in Georgia. Well, I didn't say that for the rest of the game because they got absolutely mollywopped, dude. I mean, you really saw the sheer dominance of what Kirby Smart can do with the reins. I mean, and look, guys, I get Stetson Bennett was good in college, but obviously he hadn't had, I don't think, any good years in the NFL. But I mean, to be able to take a quarterback like Stetson Bennett, to 2 back-to-back national championships and show they couldn't even be touched in national championship. And you got to credit Georgia. TCU, obviously, we felt didn't deserve to be in the playoff. I mean, I think they're the only team to ever lose now Alabama included, the only team to ever lose a conference game and not drop a spot. I mean, they were third in the nation. I think they lost to, Kansas State in overtime, didn't even get kicked out of the playoff. Even though Georgia, there was a year where Georgia only lost one game, and it was to Alabama in the SEC championship, got kicked out of the playoff. TCU loses to Kansas State in overtime, who had, I think, 2 or 3 losses, doesn't move a spot. They somehow, which makes Michigan look worse, they somehow beat Michigan and then go to the national championship and lose 80-0. And it was just embarrassing. I mean, it was embarrassing for the sport. It was, the NCAA or, the national championship had lost its glory that year. I mean, nobody expected TCU to get there anyway, but to get there and then get beat that bad is just you can't have that. As a coach, I had Sonny Dykes, my top 10 coaches in NCAA right now, but I mean, you just can't have a loss like that. I mean, to even get there, I get it as a blessing, but the fact that you got beat so bad and had no fight at all, they didn't even get a fourth quarter, pansy.
All right, that was it. Bo?
No, I just wanted to say the reason why the TCU was able to beat, we could have a whole show on this. One of the big reasons why TCU beat Michigan was because Ohio State, the word on the street was Ohio State called TCU and said, hey, Michigan's stealing signs. This is what they're doing. You better change your signs. And lo and behold, TCU ran up and down the field all game long. I don't think that was a coincidence.
Right. Yeah. I don't either. Man, that was great. Great segment, guys. Bo, I mean, I'm giving you an extra point because you mentioned the Nebraska. It's dark in here. You mentioned the Nebraska game, Miami. Yeah. So I'm going to give you an extra point for that because, I mean, let's face it, the Oklahoma-Florida State game was a snooze fest, and there wasn't much to talk about there. Defensive game, I remember it. Nobody was doing anything. Seemed like on offense, but that was 100% just awful. And I'm a defensive guy. I love the low scoring when defenses are out there, putting on a show. But it was almost like it just didn't feel like a national championship game. It didn't have that feel to it.
It felt more like, to me, bad offense rather than good. More bad offense than good defense,
Right. So, with all that said, I gave you 3 points. And then Brant, you picked a really good one, man. This was the one I was hanging my hat on as well. That Georgia TCU game was undoubtedly the worst national title game I've ever seen. Kirby did what Kirby was going to do. I mean, he just dominated. He just owned them. TCU should not have been there. We all know that. And Georgia made way of it. Georgia, all Georgia did was just confirm that, right? I don't think TCU, I didn't even realize till you said it, Brent, they scored first. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot TCU scored first in that game.
Gave them 63 unanswered.
Right. So between Kirby, you mentioned Stetson Bennett looking like a rock star, and he wasn't even that great. But in that game, yeah. So I gave you a point for that, and you brought up the fact that the losing the championship game, right? Like Georgia lost to Bama that year, and it ruined their entire. That was it. That was the end of their season.
That was their only loss too.
Yeah. I mean, so I gave you a point for that, but I mean that was 100% accurate, man. The fact that the fact that Georgia got, just completely just knocked out, and you got teams like TCU getting in. Come on, let's
Hey,
be
let's
real.
not forget Alabama went to, was it the Sugar Bowl, Bo, with Kansas State, and then smoked them.
State.
Yeah,
I think they beat them by about 5 touchdowns or something like that. Beat them by 31 or something like that.
absolutely incredible. All right, guys. Now this one's been on the docket for a while because we haven't had rivals in a minute. So Lou Holtz passed away on March 4th at the age of 89. Before becoming a head coach in 1969, Holtz held assistant coaching positions at several universities. He coached for the New York Jets. He coached at William and Mary, Arkansas, Minnesota, and Notre Dame, where he led the Fighting Irish to a 1988 national championship with 100 wins. Tell us what you remember most about Holtz and the impact he had on the game. Time is yours.
I remember more about Lou Holtz post football than during football because he was on the college game day set, him and Mark May, and listening to his motivational speeches and talking about his 3 rules for life, and basically they hovered around being successful, loving people, building relationships. And I remember so much more of that about Lou Holtz than actually the Lou Holtz that was a coach. Now, Lou Holtz that was a coach, he was a program builder, he was a developer, and of course the best thing he ever said was during the Catholics versus convicts battle. He said to make sure that they saved Jimmy Johnson's ass for him, which was phenomenal. But Lou Holtz was just one of those guys. He always spoke the truth. He spoke his mind. He was a family man, loved his family, believed in God, and believed in the values of Christianity. And he coached that way. He lived his life that way. And I will remember that about Lou Holtz more than anything he did on the field. And any coach that's worth anything will tell you that they would rather have that legacy than what's on the field.
Right.
Because the legacy on the field, that's what people see, right? It's the person that they don't see that that's who you really are. And he was even better at life off the field than he was on the field. And every program he went to, he built. I mean, he basically had to rebuild a Notre Dame program that had been kind of run down. And that team he had with Tony Rice, Rocket Ismail, that won the national championship, phenomenal. They were basically.
Time up. Bo, you were killing it. Great answer. All right, Brant, now listen. I know you're young. I know that, you never really got to see him as a coach. So I'm going to cut you some slack here. All right. But tell us what you know of Lou Holtz, right? Give us what you got on what you know of Lou Holtz and what his impact was on the game today. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you don't have to watch Lou Holtz or, have watched old-timey football to know that Lou Holtz was a damn good coach. But not only a good coach, he kind of set the standard for what you wanted in a program, especially a rebuilding program like Notre Dame when he took over. My biggest take, I love the Christian values of a coach, man. And I know this guy I'm about to bring up got a lot of hate when he was at Georgia and then obviously at Miami. But I know that Mark Richt really, really atones his coaching career to Lou Holtz, and how he treated kids on and off the field. And I think that played a big part in why those players love Mark Richt so much. Obviously, what I remember about Lou Holtz was his lisp. I remember that. I mean, that was the biggest thing growing up. My dad used to make fun of it all the time because my dad's been an Alabama fan since, he was born. Obviously, the biggest thing was to make fun of Lou Holtz's lisp. But man, if you can coach football, you can coach football. I don't care how you pronounce your S's. I mean, so,
Right.
and I think that's kind of the good thing when it came to him was, the players loved him because they felt like they could cut up with him, but damn good and well when you're on that field, you better play to 100%. You better play your best. And he kind of started that whole revolution we saw of coaches that want to come in and rebuild programs like Nick Saban did with Alabama. I mean, it's the same concept. And I think if Nick Saban sat here in front of you and told you he didn't take anything from Lou Holtz, I think he'd be lying to you. And I think that's kind of the program standard that everybody needs to set, especially credit it to Notre Dame. As much as we, get a lot of Notre Dame fans that hate us, as much as we don't like Notre Dame, you got to be able to credit when it's due, man. And Lou Holtz did exactly what he wanted to do. Obviously a pioneer in the investment game of football, and of being able to take a team that wasn't doing very well and make them better, man. That's all you can ask for. So if Got to give it to Lou Holtz, man. R.I.P.
Good deal. All right, guys. You guys are killing it with time tonight. Can I just say that? You guys are doing good. What's up, Bo?
And I wanted to say his three rules for life, and I had it on my phone, but since I'm using my phone for this, I couldn't go back. But his 3 rules for life were: do the right thing, do the best you can, show people you care. And I think he always did that.
Yeah. I agree. You both said a lot of the same things. I'm gonna cut this 3 down the middle for both of you guys. I mean, just the man he was off the field, I think we'll all hold on to. We'll remember that. The Christian that he was, but the coach that he was, all off the field. I mean, we know what he did on the field, and him being a builder of programs. I mean, all of those things are facts. I mean, the he always left the program better than when he got there. I think we can agree on that.
Hey, think about this too. Think about how many guys, and we've talked about them on this show, that are really good football coaches, but they're such scumbags off the field. There's no way you'd let your son play for them.
Right.
And he wasn't one of those guys.
Absolutely.
Sound like you're calling somebody out there, Bo. Who are you talking about?
He practiced what he preached.
Bo, who you getting
there's
at?
There's a lot of coaches, man. They go out there, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're running around on their wives. They're getting arrested. They're involved in all kinds of crazy, nefarious things. And he wasn't one of those guys. He lived it. He talked it, and he lived it.
Yeah.
But yes, there are some very specific coaches that come to mind when I say that.
Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead and name drop 2 of them. I mean, one of them's got to be Sharon Moore, right? I mean, you want to talk about a guy that ruined his life.
I mean, he's the first guy to ever send the Plan B pill to his mistress by courier, so that we know of. So, I mean, you could put him in the Guinness Book of World Records there. Urban Meyer.
Yeah,
doing some Magic Mike moves at the dance club with a 21-year-old woman while his wife's at home. It's pretty despicable.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the stuff he did at Florida. And then the fact he was basically mutinied by his staff in Jacksonville. That's the best part, is those pro guys said, you're not going to come to pro football and do anybody like that. We're done with you.
All right, guys, we're tied at 10 going into the last question. So this ought to be good. All right, where are we at here? All right, this one should be great. Bo.
Yo.
Worst head coach firing since 2000. Who was it? The worst head coach firing since 2000.
I got 1A and 1A and 1B.
No, don't take 1A and 1B, because I'm sure one of them's mine.
1A and 1B.
Give me one, Bo. Who is it? Who's your 1A?
All I can say is it's rolling, baby. Mike Price never coached a game, used a university credit card on a stripper. That's an all-timer right there, too. He falls in that category, too, guys, of Urban Meyer. And then 1B was George O'Leary getting fired from the University of Notre Dame for lying on his resume. I don't think he ever coached a game. I know Mike Price didn't coach a game, but George O'Leary, I don't think he coached a game either. He came from either he went from Central Florida and then went to Notre Dame and then lied on his resume, and then somehow or another it all came out way after the fact. But shame on Notre Dame's athletic director for not checking references. Look, you're Notre Dame football. You're a worldwide brand. That's your job.
Right.
I mean, you have to do that. You have to make, when there's certain programs, they have to make the right hire always.
Yeah.
You don't get the luxury of saying, well, we screwed up. Notre Dame is not one of those programs. They are a worldwide brand. And for them to make that kind of a mistake and not check references is unbelievable. And then, of course, Alabama had already gone through all of the stuff with Mike DeBose and the recruiting violations and going on probation. And then they hired Mike Price, and then he never coached a game. I think he went down to media days in Destin and made a pit stop on the way in Destin, somewhere down there along the coastline. There was a gentleman's club, and he decided to use university money on a stripper. And of course, the famous line, "It's rolling, baby, it's rolling."
There you go.
Those are the 2 worst hirings/firings, because neither coached a game.
All right, 2 points. But you almost made it. You're almost done. We're good. All right, good points. I'm only going to give you points for Mike Price, but Very excellent choice on a lot of good points made. Now, Brant, worst coaching fire since the year 2000. Time is yours.
So actually, I'm really surprised. I really thought Bo was gonna take mine. I don't care what anybody says. I think the worst head coach firing is since 2000. Is Les Miles at LSU. I mean, this dude won 10 games every year. I don't care what anybody says. The only problem you have with freaking Les Miles is that he couldn't beat Nick Saban. If Les Miles was the coach at LSU, take his years at LSU and set him to now in a 4-team and a 12-team playoff, this guy would be in the playoff every freaking year. I mean, he was a damn good coach. I don't care that he ate grass. That doesn't have anything to do with coaching. Look, and they fired him for a 2-2 start, and he had a little shaky loss to Auburn. I get that, but dude, I mean, nobody probably could have taken over a Nick Saban riddled LSU program after Nick Saban had gone and left better than Les Miles did. Les Miles came in, and I mean, LSU was still very relevant. I mean, LSU was winning 9 games a year, for Christ's sakes, man. I mean, we're treating this guy like he's a shitty coach because he couldn't beat Nick Saban. There's a lot of people that couldn't do that. This dude was 114-34 before they made him revoke some of his wins because of the shit that everybody does nowadays, by the way. Freaking boosters paying money for players. I think it was a booster that paid like $180,000 for a player. Like, dude, everybody does that now. Give the man his wins back. We're giving Reggie his Heisman. Let's give this dude his wins back. He's 114-34 at LSU. An insane career there. I agreed that he kind of ruined Kansas afterwards, but while he was at LSU, he still was able to take LSU to the top and keep them there for a long period of time. It was just, it all kind of caught up with him in his late 2020 or late 2010s, and he ended up getting fired and let go. But I don't think anybody was a better on-field guy, especially hyping up his players, letting them know when they were wrong, than Les Miles. Right. As much as us Alabama fans hated playing LSU every year, you got to respect the guy.
Yep, I agree. Look at this guy. Ended it right at 2 minutes. Bo, what you got?
George Leary was the head coach of Notre Dame for 5 days.
Editor's note.
5 days, guys. He was hired December 8th to
Oh my God.
Fired December 13th and won.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. All right. Last round. We went into this 10-10. Let's see what we got here. Bo, excellent choice with Mike Price. The stripper in Destin. I mean, God, I'll never forget that when it happened, man. I mean, it was just an eye roll.
Like, what are we doing?
Wasn't born yet. No. But I remember that like it was yesterday. Couldn't get over it. Like, what are we doing?
It's rolling, baby.
And it kind of goes back to what you were saying about the Notre Dame hire. Like, it's the same at Alabama. Like, how much research did we do on Mike Price before we brought this guy in? I mean, did we not know his ways? I mean, there had to be something out there, right? I just didn't understand that. Made the right hire, and he never coached a game. He never coached a game at Bama.
December the 2nd, hired in December and fired in May the 3rd.
Unreal. So 3 strong points for that one. Loved it. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The only one I would have taken over Matt Price was the one that Brant took. Les Miles. I hated that man with a freaking passion. At the time, I don't remember who else drove me more crazy as a head coach, especially watching that guy eat grass on the sideline, Brant. I mean, the amount of carpet I wore out running up and down hallways, walking, pacing. I can't sit down. I mean, that man gave Alabama more fits, and you had to watch out for his ridiculous, kooky plays, gadget plays. I mean, you never knew when he was going to do it. The nightmares that man gave me, unreal. But you valid points. I mean, yeah, you said it. He started off 2-2, and you would have thought he was the Antichrist. Like I didn't. Like you said, he couldn't beat Saban. Okay, well, who else was? I mean, he got a lot of crap for not being able to do something nobody else was doing.
Exactly.
He came in there at a time where, Saban left to go coach the Dolphins. This guy shows up, and man, yeah, he had all Saban's guys, like DeBoer does now, right? Won a national title. I mean, he was super relevant, and look, I mean, some things didn't go his way, and they got rid of him, and so quick, so fast.
They fired him because he wouldn't change his offense.
Yeah.
Like, you've got you've got Jarvis Landry and OBJ, and we're in the I formation running power. I mean, that's essentially why he got fired, guys. I mean, it wasn't because he wasn't a good football coach. It's because
He wouldn't.
it's like you have a collection of some of the a chance. I mean, Louisiana per capita puts more players in the NFL than any other state, and it is a talent-rich state, especially with skilled players.
Yeah.
And you're going to get in the I formation and run the football.
Well, let's
And
not
then,
forget. I mean, it was so bad of
well,
a
then they
fire that Nick Saban spoke on it. He said that is the biggest mistake they could have ever made.
Well,
Right.
then they got rid of him, and then of all people, Ed Orgeron wins a national championship, which shows you the talent level that they had.
Right.
And that's my point. Look at those receivers. Look at that team. Look at that quarterback. I mean, that wasn't the first time they had skilled players like that either.
Mhm.
But that was the first time that they fully utilized them,
Right.
and nobody could touch him. And that's what I think. And I don't think Les Miles is a bad coach. I just think that it's kind of like anything. It kind of runs its course. People watched it for a long time and they said, okay, we need to see something different.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah.
they're going to see something different in Baton Rouge this year for sure.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. I don't think they're ready for that. I really don't. I don't think LSU's ready for what's about to happen in Baton Rouge. I don't.
Well,
I think they're ready. There's plenty of alcohol.
Things go the way that I think they're going to go. LSU's about to rewrite some record books. I think they have the perfect guy at the perfect time in the perfect spot with the right amount of money and the right amount of recruiting base and a guy that knows how to work the portal. He's the perfect villain. He is the ultimate villain face of NIL era football. And I'm down to watch it. I'm going to love every second of it.
I agree, brother. It's going to be fun to watch, as long as Bama's winning, I'll watch.
Well, they're going to get us sometimes. We're going to get them too because
yeah.
I mean, we're getting our fair share of guys too. So,
all right. So that ends that round, and guys, we got a tie. We're at 13. So here's what we're gonna do. I had one in the back pocket, and we're gonna use it. We're gonna talk about this private equity thing going on. I'm using Utah because Utah apparently is the one that's kind of started this role. But how do we feel like this private equity is going to affect college athletics as a whole moving forward? Because this is something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, but this is a big deal, and I think that it's going to be a thing, man. I'm just curious your takes on it. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. Bo, time is yours.
Personally, I think that this, we've talked about on the show a number of times where there's going to be a crowbar in the spokes where everything's just going to come to a stop and the whole thing is going to implode. And we don't know when it's going to happen or where it's going to happen. Like there's not going to be any time to prepare. It's just good. Like the stock market crash, the big one in 1927, where everything just stopped. And that is what is going to happen eventually with this system. And this is what may do it. The private equity firms, the amount of money that's going to be pumped in. And anytime you talk about private equity, the first thing that comes to mind is Bernie Madoff and all the stuff that he did, all the people he swindled and cheated. And I just feel like this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because now you're basically going to be able now to invest your money as a private citizen into college football programs. And if you don't see where that could potentially go, this could go 9 ways wrong of Sunday.
Right.
And there's going to come a point where I don't know when, I don't know how, but the whole thing is just going to implode, and it's going to be because of money. It's just like the Atlanta Braves. You can invest in the Atlanta Braves. That's a professional organization, run by professionals. It is one organization, right?
Yeah.
But these sports teams, you have how many sports teams in the school? So what part, who gets what equity, and where exactly is the money going to go? Who's going to control the equity? Who's going to be able to buy that stock? Or is it going to be stock? Is it going to be private? Is it going to be public?
All right.
To me, this is the breaking point.
Yeah. All right. Breaking point. That being said, breaking point. Brant, what do you got on this, bud?
Look, I don't even care who wins anymore. Let me just go ahead and tell you something. I hope it does implode. No, the NCAA goes freaking bankrupt for all I care. Dude, I'm so sick of all this. I don't care about private equity. I don't care about investing or investors. I don't care about alumni. I don't care. I hope whatever needs to happen for the NCAA to implode and everything to go back to normal. I don't care. I don't care if Sabrina Carpenter has got to invest in Auburn football. I don't care. I hope that every single bit of it implodes. I just want everything to be done. I'm so sick of this new age football. I mean, almost it felt like in the beginning the NCAA was slapping America in the face, saying, "Y'all begged for these players to be paid. Okay, so we're going to put no regulations. We're just going to let them get paid." And then now we're all crying for regulations, and the NCAA can't do it. You know why? Because they don't have the right rules in place to be able to fix it. So
Yep.
it feels
All
like
right.
it was rushed. Nobody cares. I mean,
All right, we're done. We're done. We're good. We're good. Fantastic points by both you guys. I'm gonna unmute both of you. I love it, Bo. You got it. You got one more point on Brand on that last round. So congratulations to Bo for winning, guys. I completely agree. Brant, excellent point. At this point, just blow it up. You know, just Iran it. Turn it into a parking lot. You know, I mean, seriously, just kill it. I mean,
the biggest issue is the collectives. The collectives is where the whole thing is imploding. So the whole thing was supposed to work like if Powerade wants to come and sponsor Coach Bo, is 18 years old playing football at Alabama, and they want to come in and sponsor me and cut a commercial with me, then I can get paid. That was how it was intended. And then somehow or another, the collectives came into it, and there's some kind of a loophole in there, and then boom, we have collectives. And then the crazy part of it is the universities are no longer in control of their athletic programs.
right.
It's the collectives and the outside money.
Yeah.
They have no control because the universities, if universities start paying players, well, now there's a whole issue with retirement, insurance, workman's comp, you name it. And they don't even want to get into that.
yeah, but I mean,
So
dude, if the
it's a
freaking
quagmire.
founding fathers, in 1776 were smart enough to write a document where it wasn't affected by time, you'd think the NCAA would be smart enough to figure, hey, before we let all this money go into all these players, why don't we try and rewrite a document or something and try to figure out how we can stop it from imploding itself in 10 years? That's what makes me so mad.
Or maybe why don't we delay it 12 months so we can get, like Coach Bo said, when I came up with my 12 people that are going to govern college football with the commissioner, Nick Saban, and let's put these people together and put them in a room. Let's get some lawyers in there and let's work out a system. No, let's don't do that. Let's just go poof, whatever you want.
Right.
And that's just what's happened. Whatever you want.
Right. And that's
whatever you want to happen, make it happen.
And that's kind of why, like what Brant said a minute ago, I think the NCAA was just like, okay, this is what you wanted. You got it. And that's what, they're not stopping anything from happening.
And the thing of it is that the NCAA doesn't have any clout because they just get sued. And then a local judge, I mean, just like, well, let's talk about Alabama, just like in the Bediako case. But that's happened all over. I mean, not just at Alabama, but then a local judge comes in, issues an injunction, and then boom. Yep. It don't matter. Now just go play.
Completely out of control.
And then the NCAA can't do anything about it.
Right.
So, just like a pro college basketball. Watch these teams that are left, and so many players played years of pro ball. Now they come over here. Now they're playing over here, and somehow or another, and they were paid. And no telling what they were paid over there. Like I was listening to Doug Gottlieb the other day talking about, he's the coach at Wisconsin, Milwaukee or something. Anyway, and he was talking about how he brought in a pro player from Israel in the middle of the season, but yet he wants to sit there and slam Alabama for bringing Bediako back after he played pro ball when he still had eligibility left.
Yeah.
And his whole argument was, my guy didn't make more than the rules allowed. My guy's on the up and up. Everybody else's guys lie. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, no, you're just being a complete jackass.
Right.
That's what you're doing. I mean, and you're telling everybody right now that you don't give a rip about the rules, but you're going to go after Alabama because you claim they don't care about the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's what all of this NIL. This is all NIL era stuff. It's all opened up to this, and it all stinks.
It all does. You were 100% accurate, brother. You got anything else you want to rant about since you won the night?
Oh, that pretty much covered it. I'll just
All right.
I'll leave it at that, and just go ahead and give a big shout out to everybody for listening, and then thank everybody for listening, and hope you've enjoyed the previous shows too, because Chad and I did the Coach Bo's top programs and top coaches. Okay, the top programs from the last 100 years.
Right.
So go back and watch that show. And so basically, if you're not familiar with that, I took the top 100 the top 10 winningest programs. And I basically put a formula in with bowl wins and Heisman Trophy winners. And there was a couple of metrics I used. And then I shuffled them the way I saw them.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, make your own list.
Right.
But it's still
good.
fun. It's still something fun and relevant to talk about when they're not actually playing games. We don't refer to this time of year as the off season, because there is no off season, because college football is life. It is a 365-day a year job, and we love it. And we eat, sleep, and breathe it. And then the show before that, we did Coach Bo's top 10 coaches of the last 47 years since I've been alive. And the criteria is they had to be coaching at some point since my birth in 1979. And no, Woody Hayes didn't make the list, because in 1978 in the Gator Bowl, he decided to karate chop that player from Clemson in the throat. And that was it for Woody Hayes in 1978.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. It's still good, and got some good positive feedback on that, and some good positive comments. And somebody made a comment today. I do want to address this. We're talking about addressing comments, and said something about to the extent, and it wasn't even a negative comment. I just wanted to address it. Just good substantive football, that no matter how good Bear Bryant was, he still never beat Notre Dame. And that's very true. And that was one of the things that I always thought that always kind of bothered Bear Bryant, is that he never beat Notre Dame. Man, they were beating USC, Nebraska. They had long winning streaks against Auburn when he was there. I mean, they went they went all over, played whomever they could play. They beat Penn State, Arkansas, and they went all over, and they played anybody and everybody. And that was the one team that always escaped Bear. And I always thought, to his dying day, that bothered him. But the one thing he always said about that is, he said, I'd love to beat Notre Dame, sure, but beating that Cal College is far more important.
Absolutely.
And there is truth to that, but make no mistake, if he could take one win away from Auburn and add one win to Notre Dame, I think he'd have done it in a heartbeat. So anyway, good comment. We love comments like that, because it's not a negative or a positive. It's something good to talk about.
Absolutely. Brent, what you got going over on Brent's Breaking Point? What's going on over there? What are you Chad talking about?
Recently, it's just been a bunch of good lists, having a bunch of good conversations. Chad has allowed me to drink while filming the shows now, so there's been a little bit more. There's been talking in those.
Nice.
But
sounds saucy.
Yeah, just discussing opinions. And this is the thing. When y'all see me on my show and everything like that, it's completely unserious. There's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about that I try and talk about, obviously, according to y'all. So figuring it all out is part of the process, and we look forward to seeing you over there, man. Any chance you get, tune in. You got any questions, man? Leave them in the comments for us. I love to address questions, especially when it comes to rivalries and when it comes to especially football helmets. I'm a big helmet guy, but it's just the sheer of it all, man. But if you have any questions for me, man, shoot them over. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Just come on over, ask me a question whenever you need be, and I'll do my best to try and get to it.
And you guys are also talking about some March Madness. You got some bracket talk over there last week.
We did bring in March Madness just because it's the best time of the year for anybody who loves college sports and loves competition, man. Obviously you don't have very good odds of getting a perfect bracket, so I find it funny when people are commenting about how bad my bracket is, and granted, nobody's ever gotten a perfect one. So obviously I got Michigan winning my whole bracket, and they'll be put to the test, and so will my fanhood Friday when they take on Alabama. So it'll be a tough one, but hopefully Alabama can pull it out. I'd much rather Alabama win than my bracket, because it's already busted anyway. So March Madness talk, probably be a little bit more March Madness talk this Thursday. Obviously, by the time we start, the Sweet 16 will have begun on Thursday, but, we'll still be able to give a little bit of our take, so tune in.
Good deal.
And Brant, I would really love it if Alabama beat Michigan, because I don't have Michigan in the championship game or winning it. So that would help me as well. And I'm in first place in my bracket going into this weekend. So
hey, I like it. We'll see.
Unfortunately, I have to pull for Duke to win it all, but
see, look, I always do 2 brackets. I always do one where I'm like, it's tournament friendly. There's not a lot of upsets, just kind of trying to keep it to the seeds. But then I do one of like, I watch a lot of college basketball. I watch this team play. Do I think they're going to win? And so far, my gut bracket is doing a lot better than my March Madness bracket. So,
right.
But I do have Houston winning that one, so I'd take that as well.
Yeah, I got to say, when I did my bracket, I don't follow much college basketball. So I watched this show last week. I watched Brant's Breaking Point, and it definitely had a big influence on my bracket. I, too, have Michigan winning the whole thing. Didn't go his way on his picks every single round, but a lot of them. He was definitely a big influence on me. I like the way I like the things he brought to the table last week, and he definitely hey, how about that High Point? I mean, Brant called it. I mean,
how about Tennessee?
Dude,
I got a ring for that one too. And
yeah,
look at
Tennessee, yeah, and caught all kinds of hell on TikTok for it as well. So, he had some really good points. So I look forward to that this coming week with that, and them talking more about March Madness. And speaking of madness, guys, we've got a May Madness bracket coming up on this show in May. I know you've heard Chad and the guys talk about it a little bit. We've still got players available. And if you find your guy not there, message us. Let us know. We can always swap in and out. Just I'll leave a list of who's available under this video. That way, if you want to hop on board, this is an open invitation to all of our listeners. Anybody's welcome to join. So, we want you guys to be a part of this as much as possible. So, and if you want comment, the viewers are going to be the ones winning that are going to be deciding who moves on to the next round. So we need you guys here. Participate one way or another. We look forward to hearing from you guys. So get involved. Get in there. We look forward to seeing who you pick. These guys are going to have to sell their players to you. And you're going to determine who moves on to the next round. So at the end of the day, you're deciding who the greatest college football player of all time is. So we look forward to doing that in May. Get on board with us. Guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Please leave your comments down below. Give us a thumbs up if you would. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. We'll be back on Friday for Brant's Breaking Point. We're talking college basketball. We'll see y'all then.